When Andre the Giant, the towering icon of professional wrestling, finally broke his silence before his death in 1993, the wrestling world braced for revelations. Known as the gentle giant to fans, Andre's life behind the curtain was a labyrinth of simmering tensions, bitter rivalries, and grudges he carried like the physical burdens of his 7'4", 500-pound frame. His rare confessions peeled back the curtain on a man who, despite his mythic persona, harbored deep-seated animosities toward some of wrestling's biggest names. From petty irritations to explosive confrontations, here's the untold story of the wrestlers Andre despised most, and why. Andre's hatred for Macho Man Randy Savage wasn't rooted in jealousy or ego. It was far more personal: baby oil. Savage's signature pre-match ritual, slathering himself in a greasy sheen, drove Andre to fury. For a man of Andre's size, everyday tasks like showering were Herculean efforts. Hotels weren't built for giants, and scrubbing off sweat and grime after matches was exhausting enough without Savage's oil slick rubbing off on him. Savage's own brother, Lanny Poffo, admitted Randy knew Andre despised the routine. "Andre's gimmick is being a giant," Savage once quipped. "Mine is baby oil." Refusing to compromise, Savage argued that making an exception for Andre would set a precedent. But for Andre, this wasn't about gimmicks. It was about survival. The oil meant hours of extra scrubbing, and Andre retaliated in the ring. Their matches grew stiff, their interactions icy. Savage stood his ground, but Andre's patience wore thin. If Macho Man wanted a fight, the Giant made sure he felt every bruise. Hulk Hogan's rise to superstardom in the 1980s wasn't just a passing of the torch, it was a culture clash. Andre, a product of wrestling's old-school, secretive era, saw Hogan as a brash outsider who threatened the sanctity of the sport. Hogan's flashy persona and claims of matching Andre's strength struck a nerve. In their early days, Andre took it upon himself to teach Hogan respect, often through brutal, unscripted beatdowns. "He had fun beating on me," Hogan later confessed. Andre's disdain wasn't personal, it was protective. Wrestling was an art form to him, not a circus. By the time WrestleMania 3 arrived, Hogan had earned Andre's begrudging respect, but fear lingered. Hogan admitted scripting the match's iconic body slam moment, terrified Andre might deviate. "There would have been a red and yellow blood spot in the ring," Hogan said. Andre followed the script not out of friendship, but respect for the business, and perhaps a final nod to Hogan's growth. Big John Studd's sin, ambition. In the late 1970s, Studd positioned himself as Andre's successor, even taking growth hormones to bulk up. But his fatal mistake came in the ring. Andre had a sacred ritual, stepping over the top rope to enter matches. When Studd copied the move repeatedly, after being warned, Andre snapped. During a match in Des Moines, Iowa, Andre unleashed a vicious beating so severe Studd reportedly grabbed his bags and left the arena mid-show. The message was clear: there's only one giant. Studd's hubris dissolved under Andre's fury, and their rivalry became a cautionary tale about challenging a legend on his own turf. Andre's feud with Kamala, James Harris, began with a botched move in 1982. Frustrated, Andre called Kamala a dumb SOB mid-match, sparking a real-life brawl. The next night, Kamala arrived armed with a .357 Magnum, cornering Andre in his dressing room. "Sorry, boss. I didn't mean it," Andre said, hands raised. The confrontation forced a tense truce. Kamala later described Andre as temperamental, rude to fans, rude to the boys. Though they worked together for years, Kamala never fully trusted him and kept that gun close. To Andre, the Ultimate Warrior embodied everything wrong with modern wrestling: reckless, untrained, and disrespectful. Warrior's wild, high-energy style clashed with Andre's methodical approach. During house shows, Warrior's careless bumps infuriated Andre, who retaliated with stiff blows to remind him who paved the way. Their matches were often reduced to 10-second squashes, Andre's way of minimizing chaos. Warrior, lost in his own mystique, seemed oblivious to the Giant's disdain. But for Andre, sharing the ring with him was a chore he'd sooner avoid. Andre's relationship with Hacksaw Jim Duggan was rocky, but evolved into grudging respect. Early on, Duggan's loud, chaotic persona irritated Andre. But after surviving a brutal match where Andre dropped all 500 pounds on him, Duggan earned his stripes. The iconic moment came when Duggan knocked Andre out with a 2-leg-4, the only time the Giant was ever KO'd. Bloodied but unbowed, Duggan gained Andre's tolerance, even camaraderie. Years later, Duggan reflected on Andre's loneliness, a man too large for the world, yet craving connection. Bam Bam Bigelow's cocky entrance into the WWF in the late 80s rubbed Andre the wrong way. When Bigelow bragged about his paycheck, Andre decided to humble him. At Madison Square Garden, Andre squashed him brutally, a lesson in locker room hierarchy. Bigelow later called Andre a mean, smelly giant who tried to kill me. The humiliation stuck, but for Andre, it was just another day putting rookies in their place. A racial slur on a bus ride ignited Andre's feud with Bad News Brown, Alan Coge. When Andre used the N-word, Brown confronted him, demanding respect. The tension tension escalated until Brown threatened violence, prompting Andre to apologize, a rare moment of humility. They kept their distance afterward, but before Andre's death, the two buried the hatchet. For Brown, it was about mutual respect. For Andre, a hard lesson learned. The Iron Sheik's backstage behavior, mistreating enhancement talent and spewing profanity, enraged Andre. Bobby Heenan recalled Andre nearly killing Sheik in the ring for his lack of respect. Sheik's loudmouth antics and disregard for wrestling's unwritten rules made him Andre's nemesis. Tom Pritchard summed it up. Andre didn't operate in shades of gray. He either loved you or hated your guts. The Sheik landed firmly in the latter camp. Jake Roberts adored Andre, but the feeling wasn't mutual at first. After a humiliating squash match, Roberts stormed into Andre's locker room, demanding respect. Andre tested him with brutal in-ring hazing, sitting on him, yanking his hair, and even farting on him mid-hold. Yet through the torment, Roberts earned Andre's respect. He was a giant in pain, Roberts said, reflecting on Andre's lonely existence. Their relationship became a twisted blend of brutality and mutual admiration. Andre the Giant's grudges reveal a man fiercely protective of wrestling's soul. His hatreds weren't petty. They were rooted in pride, principle, and the pain of a life lived as a spectacle. From baby oil feuds to racial reckonings, Andre's story is a reminder that even legends grapple with humanity's flaws. Who else do you think made Andre's list? Share your thoughts below, and if you want more wrestling deep dives, subscribe for the untold stories of the ring's most iconic figures.
Subscribe for more interesting videos and hit the like button.